Two people are arguing and then you end up laughing at one of them while everybody else is laughing.
I'm 100% doing this. If we're in a roast circle and I'm with my friends and stuff and I see somebody that's chopped, that's giggling, oh, I'm coming at you. You should not be laughing too hard. What's good, YouTube? Today we're gonna be looking at types of people while roasting. Yep, we encountered a lot of people during school. People who would make fun of you for being big. People who would make fun of you because of your skin color. People who would just make fun of you just to make fun of you. Without further ado, let's get started.
Today we're talking about the types of people you encounter during a roast battle. Now, whether you're just having a casual roast battle with your friends or you're actually in beef, these are the types of people you'll end up encountering, starting off with the roast historian. This is the guy that you swear hired a private investigator to dig up dirt on you prior.
And this usually be happening in the group chats. This almost never happens in person. They wouldn't drop the most crazy screenshots and knowledge of you in the group chats. You guys are actually the most terrible people. The fact that you can't even be entrusted with a secret, at that point, is it even roasting? Yes, it's roasting, but dude, at the cost of what? Exposing people? You're an actual terrible human being if you do this. Or you say anything about someone that you know. Now, granted, I understand if you're losing and you're getting clowned, you're getting called chopped, you're damn near on your last straw. Sometimes, you know, maybe you gotta expose the fact that their uncle got ran over in 3rd grade, you know? Maybe you gotta say something that'll help you get the edge.
To the roast battle. I mean, it's almost unfair. This guy has some random fact about you that's embarrassing from when you were younger that he's about to expose to the entire audience who's watching the roast. It truly is like bringing a gun to a fist fight. You could be winning. You could be winning the roast battle, and the moment the dude pulls up that random fact, you just gotta surrender. Like,
yes, 100%. Especially if it's something that's gonna last even after the roast. Like, if it's something that people are gonna forever bring up, GG's.
it goes something like this. Yo, tell me why you use a block of cheese as deodorant, bro. You smell funny. Oh,
I'm sorry. If you're actually doing that, you're disgusting. No one does that. I was assuming something even more crazier, like you're exposing something that they did in the past, someone that they talked about. If you're just dirty, yes, that's a bad roast, but that's not something that's gonna really affect you later on. If you're applying cheese to your armpits, I'm gonna just assume you need actual medical help. You probably have 3 teacher assistants helping you as you do your assignments. You probably use your pencil with your whole fist like this, and you sniff the hell out of Sharpie markers. You're one of those kids.
I don't know. Why don't you tell me about the fact that your meat got leaked to your entire previous school district in 7th grade, and it was the joke of the entire town? And tell me why.
I will say this. There's people who do move away from schools because they got exposed that bad. That's the worst case scenario, because I know people that have. I moved schools because I got into too much fights. So if somebody moves schools, chances are there's dirt on them.
Later that year, your science teacher had to resign because he couldn't stop having laughter outbursts in the middle of class whenever you would show up for attendance. It's like at that point, you just lost. Like, there just isn't any way to come back from this. You either gotta shake this guy's hand and say GG, or
if you're shaking hands during a roast session, you're actually such a loser. I'm sorry. Roasting is not that formal. Roasting is very much casual. Like, if you're actually formalities to you, my good sir, what a wonderful roast session. Nobody does that.
Or you're throwing hands. Like, it's one or the other. Next up, we got Mr. Intrinsic. This is the guy who can only roast people based on things they can't control, like their race, their height, stuff like that.
You know what? Can you even blame them? I mean, it's a roast session after all. One of the most important factors of a roast session is how you look. I will say, though, there's a difference between roasting and just literal racism. You can't disguise racism as, oh, yo, I was just roasting him. Yes, I called him dark as night, but yo, bro, like, it's a roast session. No, you're just racist, bro. You're literally just racist.
Now, don't get me wrong, this guy can be funny, but sometimes it's a little bit too easy. Like, imagine cooking up the best roast of your life just to be responded to with by, hey, aren't you still a 5-foot Mexican, though?
I did not think he was gonna say it like that.
It's like, alright. I would say when you're in a matchup against Mr. Intrinsic, you kind of gotta play on his level. Like, if he's just gonna be roasting you for things you can't control, you just gotta play the same game as him.
Yeah.
Be like, your family's poor, though. You know what I mean? Like, things that...
That's very much a valid way to roast someone. Call it crazy, but roasting someone for their height is completely justified. Like, that's okay. The whole point of roasting is to, like, make you feel bad about your appearance, right? If you're creative with your roasts, regardless of how you may roast them, then it's accepted. It's not like there's rules to roasting. Oh, no, you cannot come at my height. Yo, bro, if you're built like a leprechaun, oh, best believe I'm about to call you, you know, Kai Cenat. Yo, gang, I'm gonna call you Kevin Hart 2.0.
He just has no control over. And I'm sure you being so poor will not help you deal with your mother's incurable disease. It might sound too far or too mean, but if you're gonna play the game where you roast people over things they can't control, I think everything's fair game. Next up, we got the victim slash the punching bag. The dude that just kind of sits there and takes it and doesn't really respond. Maybe this guy underestimated how good of a roaster.
The person who doesn't say anything, you're actually a goat, because I'm gonna tell you why. A lot of the times if you just don't respond, they'll most likely just stop clowning you. The person who doesn't respond goes to show, bro, this doesn't affect me. And you're literally just talking. If you're roasting someone who's literally not responding to, you're actually kind of a loser. You're basically talking to yourself at this point. I strive to be like that. People who just don't care what people say.
You would be, and so therefore he's kind of not sure what to do and just sits there. Or maybe he's cool with being the butt of the joke for the day, alright? He can deal with the fact that your laughter is at his expense. But unfortunately, what ends up usually happening with the punching bags is it doesn't just stop at one day they're the butt of the joke and everyone's laughing. It's usually the case that because they've now identified themselves as a target for someone to roast, it just kind of becomes that they end up getting bullied. And some
It really depends. I feel like the people that get roasted nonstop are people with, like, you know, sadly, just obvious disabilities. And, you know, middle school students are actually terrible at this because they don't care. But other than that, if you're just a regular person that just attends school every day, this is not gonna happen to you. If so, that's not even roasting anymore. You're literally just bullying him.
Sometimes this guy even catches strays. Like, two people are arguing and then you end up laughing at one of them while everybody else is laughing, but because you are the punching bag, you get called out. Like, one of the dudes arguing is like, oh, I know you're not.
I'm 100% doing this. If we're in a roast circle and I'm with my friends and stuff and I see somebody that's chopped, that's giggling, oh, I'm coming at you. You should not be laughing too hard. There would be times where I just genuinely wouldn't laugh at someone else's roast just so someone don't come at me. I'm gonna just play in the background and just observe all the roasts. The worst thing that could happen to you is you're not even laughing, you're silent, and someone still wants to roast you.
Laughing. And then you start getting cooked even though you had zero involvement in this altercation. You got punished for the crime of laughing, bro. How does that feel? Next up, we got the anti-roast. Now, this guy is kind of a genius, but I don't think he even knows he's a genius. This guy will respond to a roast by being overly nice to the point where it's creepy, and
those people are 100% the worst people. If you're the type of person that wants to roast someone and be like, yeah, I'm just trolling. No, bro, it doesn't how it works. It's my turn now. GG's, you're done.
I think that's kind of the point. You hit this guy with like the, oh, you smell bad roast, and he responds with, bro, your sister is so hot. Like, how do you even respond to that? Like, you said he smells bad, and he's like, dude, I literally pictured us getting married. I had a dream about it.
If you're doing this, you're weird. That's not even roasting at that point. You're just talking about someone else. I guess the best way to reply is by telling them that you do the same to their sister, I guess.
You might think that the dude saying that stuff is actually weird, but he ends up winning the audience because it's so outrageous. This same dude, when you roast him, will respond with something really zesty. You hit him with a, boy, your outfit is trash, and he's like, I love when you talk down to me. Oh yeah, degrade me. It's like, dude, now I can't.
I've never dealt with that, but you know what? That might be a good response. That might be better than just staying silent, just acting unbothered.
Because you made it sus. You made it sus. The anti-roast is low-key overpowered right now, but I think the reason it doesn't get used is because it just isn't known about enough. Or because some people just don't want to act weird at all costs. They'd rather maintain their swag. So I'm actually curious, and you guys can please help me in the comments. How do you respond when you roast someone and they respond by being zesty? Or by saying that your mom is hot? Like, it's actually so...
You just gotta say the same thing about them. I'm not saying do this, but I know people who would just make fun of you for being zesty then.
Genius. Like, your mom is so hot or your sister is so hot. It's like, instead of saying your mom is so fat or your sister is so fat, it's like, your mother is so desirable. Like, dude, how do you respond to that? You can't be the one to say, actually, no, you wouldn't want my mom. She's really gross and fat, because now you're roasting your own bloodline.
No, or you could just be like, stop talking about my mom. I feel like that's weird if anyone talks about your mom like that.
That's literally the woman who birthed you. And then if bro says something zesty when you roast him, like you can't continue to roast him, I feel like you're f***ed. So let me know down in the comments what you guys would do. And while you're down there, please be sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe if you're not yet subscribed. We're trying to blow this channel up. But yeah, that leads us to the next one. This is Mr. Sympathy, the dude that when he's getting roasted, basically acknowledges that everything you're saying is true and kind of tries to get pity from the audience or the roaster. You hit him with the...
Okay, that happens sometimes, but like, if someone does this, I feel like no one's gonna really rock with you. Like, you're like this. I mean, it really depends on how harsh the roast was. If you're crying about the fact we call you big,
bro, there's something I just can't
Take control. If you're this type of person, you better stay silent the whole time then.
Oh bro, have you showered recently? You smell and look like crap. And he's like queuing up the sob story like, no, actually, I haven't showered recently because I've been dealing with an intense state of depression, so much so to the point where nothing feels like it's worth doing, even including getting in the shower. On top of that, I lack the encouragement that most people get from their fathers due to the fact that mine is absent. And even if I wasn't depressed and had a father, that doesn't change the fact that my family is struggling to make ends meet.
Don't do this. Whoa, what is this stock photo? This really depends on if the people that you're with are not assholes. Because if you're telling me a sob story this heavy, we're just gonna use it to our ammo. Oh, buddy, oh, you're fatherless? You're poor? You can't afford a shower? Dude, like the list goes on. Why would you just give people more ammo like this?
And we can't even afford our water bill right now. We do not care. We didn't ask for an autobiography, alright? Just take it on the chin and keep moving. Guys like this are so f***ing annoying because they're also the most likely to snitch. You just know the guy who gets this upset and worked up over a roast battle is definitely the type of guy to go to the principal and be like, yeah, he said all this mean stuff to me at recess. Have him expelled.
Facts.
Like, alright bro, we get it. Now you're never getting invited to a party. Next up, we
true.
got the fact checker. This guy presses you. He's like, are you a virgin? And you'll be like, no. And then he's like, okay, name your previous girlfriends. Where did it happen?
It's actually kind of insane that people get pressured to lose their virginity in high school. Like, bro, like, if anything, you should be proud of me. You should be proud that I'm not sleeping as a minor. I care about my education. I don't care about clapping cheeks. You shouldn't be looked at a loser for not winning the smash. And I feel like that's the reason why a lot of people do it. And that's kind of sad.
What location? What time of day? And he's listening to every word you say just to find something that doesn't make sense or some sort of inconsistency. You'll be like, my first girlfriend's name was Jessica, and then later on,
Faking a story to people that actually did it is kind of hard because they know exactly how they felt or how you should feel.
at the end of the roast, he'll be like, and what was the name of your first girlfriend? And you'll be like, Julia. And he's like, ha, gotcha. The fact checker is absolutely devious. He'll call someone broke. They'll say, no, I'm not. And then he'll be like, open up your banking app right now. Let's see your balance. Or he'll call someone short. They'll be like, no, I'm actually not short. And then he'll actually start measuring them on the
If you're doing this, you're too deep in it. It's never that deep. The only way I could see someone doing this is like in a group chat. If someone tries to roast you for something that's like so personal and they want to just like make sure that it's true.
spot, he'll be like, let's go back to back right now. Now, while the tester is an effective roasting strategy, at the end of the day, you still lose to the anti-roast. Like, imagine you're like, all right, let's go back to back. And then the dude says, oh, you're so tall and handsome and your mom's hot. Like, you lost! Next up, we got the fight starter. The dude that literally 3 roasts in can't take it and wants to throw hands. This one is pretty universal and almost always takes place at some point where there's a roast battle and it just someone says something and goes too far and the dude just wants to throw hands. If you ask me, elevating the roast battle to a fist fight is an automatic loss.
If you're the first person that's throwing a punch because you're just mad about some words, like I understand it makes us feel some type of way, but if it gets to this point, then just don't even participate in roasting.
Like, bro, you really have to throw
If you're throwing hands, in a way, you're kind of weak. Just because you do this doesn't mean you're gonna win the fight, by the way. A lot of the times, the person that doesn't get offended as easy will beat your ass.
hands because you couldn't roast back or you couldn't just sit there and take the L. The only exception that I would give to the throwing hands thing is that if the guy roasting you literally says the single most out-of-pocket thing humanly imaginable, like if your mom died yesterday and then he brings it up in the roast battle, like at that point you have my full permission to clock this guy. Next up, we have the rap god, the dude who just for some reason feels like it's necessary to deliver his roasts in the form of a rap.
Nobody does this. At least that I know. I'm gonna call you a loser. Bro, you're not trying to make it to Double XL. We're not doing a diss track. You're doing too much if you're doing this.
Whether he's doing a freestyle a cappella on you or he pulls up a type beat on YouTube to rap.
What type of zesty ass type beat this is? Yo, what are these hashtags? Hashtag Lil Nas X. Hashtag gay type beat. You know what? To each their own. I wonder what roasts are gonna come up off of this beat though. Are you complimenting him? You're gonna tell him you wanted to kiss him this whole time?
Rap over. This guy wants his musical talents to be appreciated. And credit to the rap god here. Honestly, a lot of roasts can hit harder if they're in the form of a rhyme. Like the same exact content of the roast can be said, but if it's in the form of a rap or a freestyle, it just sounds a lot cooler and probably hits harder.
If you're able to do this, you're talented. Stop roasting. Just pick up a book and actually start rhyming. There's no point. Like, especially if you know how to freestyle while doing this.
Hey yo, you are fat. When you turn 30, you will have a heart attack. And I swear to God that you're not coming back.
Yeah, bro, I'm sorry. Yo, this is not meant for you, narrator. And you give me this atrocious ass beat? This is garbage.
Back. You basically just called him fat, which a second grader could do, but you did it with style, so you get style points. Next up, we got Mr. Props, the guy who kind of outsources his roasting to props and items. A good example of this is he'll smell your breath, be like, boy, your breath stank, and then pull out a toothbrush for you to use.
I hate people who are too touchy with their roast. Bro, if you're gonna say something about me, then say it verbally. Do not touch me.
Implying that you need the toothbrush. Now, this can either be seen from the lens of doing the roast with style or just...
There is no reason why Kai needed to do this. How do you explain this frame to somebody with no context? What could have possibly happened for you to make a face like this?
Doing too much, like taking the roast too seriously. And sometimes it can backfire and make you end up looking like the idiot. Like if you pull up with a rainbow dildo in your backpack and you're gonna be like, huh, you left this at my house. It's like, what the f? Why would he have left that at your house? You look way worse than the dude you're roasting, and honestly, you kind of deserve it. Next up, we got the duo or the friend group. It's when you're in a roast battle and this guy calls in his buddies to assist him. This type of guy in the roast battle is the worst because you thought you was having a one-on-one, but in reality, he just brought the whole squad with him. It's just...
Okay, I wouldn't say this happens because if you're telling somebody to help me, it doesn't look cool. Plus, you look weird. I will say this. If the more of the person who you're roasting's friends are around them and they laugh harder at his jokes, then yeah, you probably lost. Because with roasting, it really just depends on whose roasts are people laughing at more. If they're laughing harder at your jokes, you won. Just make sure you have friends that laugh at your jokes and you should be good.
It's just not fair. If you want to do a 5v5, we can do a 5v5, but when I'm having my 1v1, you gotta respect that. Now,
nobody's having a 5v5 roast. Who's doing this? Maybe the school I went to just wasn't like that.
Now, I will say, if you've ever clutched a 1v5 or even a 1v2, you are goated, alright? Like, the odds were stacked against you, you got ambushed, you got surprise attacked, and you still made it out on top. You honestly deserve, like, a medal for that. But that completes the types of people...
We don't have a battle royale of roasts. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen for y'all, let me know. But anyways, amazing video. Let me know what's the worst roast you've gotten or any type of scenario you've been in while roasting. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Join us on Twitch, all that good stuff, man. Waxer for life. Love y'all.